Sovereign, and this is my court. We are here today to talk about Miss Colombia. Yes, we are traveling to South America to talk about Miss Colombia. I have seen her performance, and let's get into it. First things first, this is the first time that I am discussing a South American country, I believe, in its own specific video. I need you guys to give me more videos of the South Americans. I want to do more videos on them. But let's discuss the South Americans because this information is pertinent to the new Miss Colombia. South Americans are the queens of technique. They are the technical masters. They are precision, precise, perfect technicians of technique on stage. I'm talking about turns, walks, pacing, distance, head tilts, turns. It is precision, perfection. That is what South Americans bring. If you see like the Colombians, the Venezuelans, they're killing you with technique down to their toes at specific angles. They get it all right. I fully believe the girls practice their hair flips. They're so perfect, like technically perfect. And I know some of you are probably sitting there like, wait, aren't the Philippines like the best coaches in the, okay, you gotta see the differences here. You guys gotta see like I see. The Filipinos are like artists. The South Americans, Colombians and Venezuelans in particular, they're like engineers. They are like mathematical precision, perfection down to the angles. Perfect. Filipinos bring the artistry. They're going to bring something unique, some sort of style, some sort of flavor. It's two different styles, both of which are fabulous. Which is why I believe the Miss Universe crown likes to bounce back and forth between the two continents, and specifically these two dominant countries of like the Philippines and Colombia. It's because they both have very different styles, but at the same time, like very good styles of like producing queens. A weakness that I have seen predominant among South American queens is that their attention to precision, technical perfection can cause them to come off as inauthentic and artificial. They are so perfect, their style is so rigid in its precision that it can come off as almost robotic. And I think that this inauthenticity or this lack of being realistically grounded and relatable has been the downfall of many South American queens. Apart from Laura Gonzalez, let me just put out there right now, Laura Gonzalez, she is bae. Laura Gonzalez is the queen of South America. I don't care what you, debate your mother. Laura Gonzalez has consistently been one of my favorite queens ever. She's this, and I'm saying this because Laura Gonzalez did not have that weakness. She came out with so much personality. Like it was just her, like she was unapologetically herself. If you didn't like her gigantic smile, oh well, she was gonna give it to you anyways. Laura Gonzalez did not have the South American weakness, but most queens from South America, because of their perfect performances and their super practiced stances and walks and the way that they move, it's starting to hurt them. In the past, before our current era, during like the Trump era of queens, which I probably should do a video on, I probably will. During that era, the judging system was different and what they were looking for in a queen was different. In that era, they really were looking for the perfect woman, or what kind of like what men would perceive to be the perfect woman. They wanted a woman who was elegant, who was poised, who was demure, who was slightly sexy, but all in a very quiet way, in a way that it was a very it's almost an overly photoshopped image of what a perfect woman would be. Very smooth edges, very controlled, very precise. And in this new era, what they're looking for in the judging system is a real woman who's also very amazingly perfect in her own way, but there's more realism and there's more acceptance towards who that woman is in particular, which is why we're seeing more personality and more fierceness and more of all that coming out. But what I'm seeing coming from a lot of the South Americans is that they're still stuck in a way of performing that was very Trump era, very overly perfect, very overly controlled. Which is why you'll see the Colombians and Venezuelans consistently, they're still making pretty high levels, they're still making finals, but they don't have the relatability that we get from other queens because they're still performing in kind of the ways of the past. I'm saying all this because this is the typical performance that I'm consistently seeing coming from South American queens, particularly the two powerhouses of the region being Colombia and Venezuela. And I'm pointing all this out because the current Miss Colombia is not a part of the rule. Maria, I don't know how to say her last name, don't ask me. The current Miss Colombia, I watched her swimsuit, watched her evening gown, watched her speaking. The first thing I gotta say, because it's bugging me. It was bugging me and I got it. This hair is bugging me too. It's in my face. What was bugging me? Girl, the tan. I'm sorry, I can't overlook it. The USA girls did it to me last year. That tan was too much. It was too much. I watched her swimsuit and everything, and the first thing was just like, that tan is too dark. It is too dark. Ladies, if you're gonna, anybody, honestly, if you're gonna get a tan, number one, make sure you have the foundation to match. Do not go more than like 3 shades darker than your natural skin tone. It's pushing it. I would do 2. Like that, the tan was bad. I'm sorry, bad tan. But as I'm watching her performance, the reason that I'm saying she's not a typical Colombian is because I'm sitting here right now going to say something that I never thought that I would ever say about a Colombian queen. She needs technical help. She needs help technically with her training. What world am I living in when I'm saying a Colombian queen needs technique training? But she does, which is why this is very abnormal. So abnormal for a Colombian queen when I'm just, okay. But yes, it's true. And I'm not saying by any means it was awful or terrible, but it was not the Colombian precision that I am used to at all. And it was, to me, it was very evident. I will say this, her confidence and her charisma, great. That's a Colombian queen. She does have that. She was giving the face. She was giving the confidence. She just does not have the technique. It just didn't seem practiced. It didn't seem trained. Where was the precision? And you guys know I've said things about overtraining before. That's not what I'm saying. I don't want her to go to the zone where she's like perfectly precision type, overly trained, because you guys know that that's not a good thing either. But there is a certain type of technique that you should have. Foot placement, walking, pacing, turns and poses, like those things seemed off. The poses didn't seem right. They seemed kind of lackluster. It just didn't seem like she had full confidence in what her body was doing, but she had total confidence in what her face was doing. So moving into evening gown, I'm watching her evening gown once again. The face is there. By the way, this girl is dropped it gorgeous. She is gorgeous, gorgeous. I saw her face, I'm like, well, that's a Colombian for you, because the face, I need to go look at her pictures, because I feel like her pictures are to die for. Like, I haven't seen any pictures of her, but her face on stage, she has to kill in a photo. But as I got into her evening gown, as she's giving face, it really seemed like her body just didn't know what to do. Like she tried to do her hand and, you know, her turn a specific way, but it came off as awkward. Like she wasn't exactly sure. It just didn't come off as confident body movements, body placing. Her face played confident. Neck up, no problem. Neck up, it was fine. But the body portion down there, now I'm trying to be smart about this and think, because you guys know I know a lot about pageants, and I know a lot about the people that run the pageants and the coaches that are a part of the pageant. Like I know enough to know that number one, Colombia has good coaches. I know that. So I'm thinking maybe Colombia has finally caught on to why they are getting really close to the crown but not exactly grasping it, because they haven't really had a down-to-earth queen, a really relatable queen. The previous queens, other than Laura Gonzalez, she's amazing, don't at all, she's perfection, but the other queens seemed too artificial. The one thing I can say about this girl, other than her obvious charisma and confidence, is the fact that she does seem more relatable. She does seem more down to earth. she seems more the type of woman that the judges would be intellectually drawn to. So in my mind, I'm thinking maybe Colombia has finally caught on to this, and they picked a girl who is strong in the areas that previous girls have been weak in, knowing that they have really good coaches and they can easily fix any technical problems she might have. Maybe that's what they did, because I do not believe that the Colombians are going to allow the performance that I saw persist unto Miss Universe. I don't believe that at all. I know they have coaches, so she has to be going through some sort of training there. But if she does get her technical training, which I fully believe that she will, because it's Colombia, she will be dangerous. Because her speaking ability, her relatability, the way that she draws people in, I've only seen that come from Laura. So if she's able to get that technique in, Colombia will be a threat for the crown. The current Miss Colombia speaks the way the United States Queen speaks, which is saying a lot, because that's one thing I can say about my country. We are the interview queens, but this is a very different type of Miss Colombia than I'm used to. So at this point, the fate of Miss Colombia is in the hands of her coaches. If they do see the technical issues that I saw and they fix them, this girl is Miss Universe crown dangerous. Like, she and Miss Indonesia, danger. But if they allow these technical issues to persist to the Miss Universe competition, there might be an opening to snag Colombia's spot in finals, because you guys know Colombia is consistently placing in finals, but there are a lot of good countries in South America. They just haven't been able to break through because of the consistent dominance of Venezuela, Colombia, and Brazil. If Colombia doesn't fix their issues, there might be a finalist spot available to one of those countries who have been clawing their way and trying to break through. Argentina, Aruba, Curacao, Barbados. There are some countries that are waiting in line to snag a spot, and they have been sending some gorgeous girls to Miss Universe and have been barely missing the mark. So I mean, if Miss Colombia, if they don't fix these technical issues, Colombia is not gonna make finals. And I'm not saying it's because she's bad. I'm saying it because the countries that are behind Colombia are so good. They are clawing at Colombia's heels to get that finalist spot. Colombia cannot afford to not be perfection, especially in their strongest attribute, which has always been their technique. That has been the one thing Colombia shines at. Like, have you seen Colombians in swimwear? Are you kidding me? They can't, that would be like Miss USA giving a bad interview. Miss USA can't afford to give a bad interview, because that's the one shining star that you know you should be able to nail as a Miss USA queen. Like, you can't, they have to fix the technical issues. If they don't, honestly, one of the island nations right off the coast of South America, they're gonna get you. They're gonna take a spot. So yes, Miss Colombia. I just don't know whether to be afraid or excited. Afraid because of the technical issues in an area that they are usually very dominant in, or excited because she is very strong in areas that previous competitors have not been strong in. I'm stumped. I don't really know what to expect from this woman. Just fix the technical issues. Fix it, because I promise you that that's gonna be a problem, okay? Okay. In the comments section below, please let me know what you think about the current Miss Colombia. Are there any other inconsistencies or strengths that you think that I might have missed, or something that you saw, or something that you want to throw in? Or do you just think, no, her technique was absolutely perfect, but then again, I would just assume that you were blind? Just let me know what you think in the comments section below. We may all discuss. In the meantime, make sure you give the video a thumbs up, and if you are not a member of my court, hit the subscribe button so I can continue to hang out with you. I greatly enjoy the time we spend together. In the meantime, I love you and I'll miss you, but you know I will be back in a future video. Bye!